Let's talk about something really strange happening on Michigan's roads. At first glance, you'd think things are getting safer, but when you look a little closer, they're actually getting more deadly. It's a weird contradiction, and it's something every single one of us who drives needs to understand. So that's the big question, right? Are Michigan's roads getting any safer? And honestly, the answer is, well, it's a definite yes and a very alarming no, all at the same time. The full picture is way more complex than you'd think. And here it is. This is the heart of the paradox. Since 2019, the total number of crashes has dropped by more than 8%. I mean, that sounds great, right? Fewer accidents. But, and this is a huge but, the number of fatal crashes has actually gone up. We're having fewer accidents overall, but the ones that do happen are way, way more deadly. Okay, so let's jump in and really dig in to the raw numbers to see what's actually going on here. To get a sense of the scale, let's start with this number. In 2023, the Michigan State Police logged just under 289,000 total crashes. That's the big picture. But hiding inside that massive number is a much more tragic one. And this is the number that really matters. In that same year, 1,099 people lost their lives in those crashes. That's over 1,000 families completely devastated. It really shows you the human cost behind all these statistics. And that right there, that gets to the heart of it. We're seeing fewer of those minor fender benders, but the crashes that are happening are just so much more severe, with far more tragic outcomes. The problem isn't the number of crashes anymore, it's the intensity. So what factors are driving this deadly trend? What's going on out there? Let's take a look at what the story and the numbers tells us. One of the biggest red flags is the really sharp rise in pedestrian-related crashes. Just look at this chart. These incidents jumped by over 200 in a single year. That's a huge, clear sign that the most vulnerable people on our roads are at a growing risk. Now, it's not all bad news. There is a little glimmer of hope here. We've actually seen a slight decrease in crashes from distracted driving, and that's likely thanks to Michigan's new hands-free law. This is so important because it proves that smart policy can actually work. It can change how people behave behind the wheel. However, while we're making some progress on distraction, impaired driving remains a stubbornly persistent killer. I mean, despite all the awareness campaigns you see, alcohol is still a major factor in a huge number of fatal crashes all across the state. So, with all that in mind, what are the key dangers we all need to be looking out for? Let's translate these stats into some practical awareness for every single driver. So, the leading causes? They're probably what you'd expect. People on their phones, speeding, not yielding, and driving impaired. But the most important takeaway is that last point, the one that ties them all together. The overwhelming cause isn't bad weather or car malfunction. It's us. It's human error. And you know what? Since the problem is human error, that means the solution lies with us too. So let's walk through a simple safety checklist of things you can do every single time you get behind the wheel. These solutions are so simple, but they demand our full attention. Just slowing down makes any potential crash less severe. And with pedestrian incidents on the rise, being extra alert at crosswalks is a must. Put the phone away, not just down, but away. And of course, never, ever drive impaired. These little habits are the most powerful tool we have to save lives. Because behind every single one of those numbers we've been looking at, there's a real story. An accident isn't just a data point on a chart. It's a life, it's a family, it's a future that gets turned completely upside down in a split second. So what happens when prevention isn't enough? For the people who survive these horrible crashes, the accident itself is really just the beginning of a long, complicated, and frankly, exhausting road to recovery. For a lot of victims, just trying to figure out what to do next is totally overwhelming. And that's where this idea of case management becomes so important. It's basically a support system that's designed to coordinate all the medical care, handle the insurance claims, all that stuff, so a person can just focus on healing. So how's it work? Well, the process is usually really streamlined to help people quickly. It often kicks off with a consultation to go over the case, and then a professional steps in to manage all the care and fight to get the compensation needed for recovery. The whole point is to create a clear path through a really, really tough time. So why is this kind of support so critical? It really just boils down to one thing. It lets victims focus completely on their health. You hand off all the complex, stressful logistics, and it ensures you have a professional advocate in your corner, fighting for you every step of the way. And that's really the core principle here, to aggressively advocate for a victim's rights. At a moment when you are incredibly vulnerable, it's all about making sure you're not taken advantage of and that you get the full care and support that you are absolutely entitled to. So, we'll end right back where we started. We've seen the data, we've unpacked Michigan's driving paradox. So the final question is really for you. Knowing all these risks, how will you change the way you drive? And are you prepared for what to do if the unexpected happens? Thanks for joining this explainer.